What up, what up, what up? How y'all doing out there? And
what's the deal?
What's the deal? What's the deal? Out there in internet land, yeah?
The internets.
Internets. Listen, I'm so excited about today's episode, man.
Oh yeah?
Man, this gonna be the one right here.
This is the one?
This is the one right here, y'all, because we gotta pay respect and homage.
Respect and homage.
You know what I'm saying? To the legendary, the queen. The queen.
Mary J. Blige?
Huh?
Beyonce?
Huh? No disrespect to Beyonce and Mary J.
Tina
Blige,
Turner?
right? But the queen, though. Y'all see the records behind us. Miss Aretha Franklin. We love you so much, and rest in peace to the queen.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Did you watch the funeral?
Yes.
All 13 hours.
From
From
walking in and taking the body out.
But all in all, though, it was a nice service, though, right?
Yeah, they gave her a nice send-off.
Send-off and a homecoming to the queen.
Yes, sir.
So that's what Everything OG about to do. We're going to give a nice send-off and homecoming to the queen, the Everything OG style. You know what I mean? We're going to list our, basically just run off our favorite Aretha Franklin albums and songs for y'all. So let's get into it. Let's do it. I'm so happy about this one, man.
I see.
The queen. The queen. What you got, Bill and Block? Your first up, man.
Well, first up,
Ooh.
I'm going to start with the album that started it all.
Yes.
Well, let me just say this. She was on Columbia CBS before, and they couldn't find no hits with her. And, you know, the one jewel we did get from there, One Step Ahead, sampled by Ayatollah for the Most Def classic, Miss Fat Booty. The way he took that sample and freaked it,
he killed it,
man. And then, you know, just to finally hear the song stands great alone by itself.
But I would say that Most Def song probably brought more light to that song. Would you say that? Like, I mean,
I had never heard of it until Most Def.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
he brought the song to fame.
You know, he definitely put it on my radar.
What album though? The one in the Columbia album, Soulville, was dope though, right? That song Soulville was real ill though, if I'm not mistaken, on Columbia though. You know what? You know what I mean? That was like another gem.
I can't say I really ever heard it. You know, I'm not gonna front.
But to the album that you wanted to present though,
I wasn't a big
Columbia Records fan.
Yeah, fan of her. But back to what I was saying, the one that really started it off for her, that sent her
What, to stardom?
Her rise to stardom. Aretha Franklin. I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You on Atlantic. When she paired with Jerry Wexler, they were like match made in heaven. The way she took Otis Redding's respect and made it her bitch. You know, and I damn near want to say she signed her crush Sam Cooke, because the change is going to come here.
I can't say it's better than Sam's.
I can, and I will.
I can't say that.
I will say it's better than Sam's. It's better than Otis's. You know, it's something about Aretha's voice when she takes a song.
Wow.
And the way she interprets it, and
we're gonna have our Everything OG audience comment on that one.
Hey, they can comment. It's my opinion. I like her version better. You know, and the other cut on here I like is Do Right Woman, Do Right Man.
It's a good song.
Dr. Feelgood's a little overrated to me.
I like Dr. Feelgood.
It's cool, but you know. And I like Baby, Baby, Sweet Baby. But you know, and Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. You know, but yeah,
classic album.
Classic album, and you know, those songs I named, those are my favorite songs of hers that, you know.
Well, I'm gonna take it back to the church first. Because as you know, and I'm sure everybody in the audience probably knows for sure that Aretha Franklin, she comes from the church. Like her pops was a minister.
C.L. Franklin.
Yeah, he had his own church. He was the pastor of that church. And when she made it big,
the Eagles Nest Stirs.
Yeah, I mean, when she made it big, she had to come back to the church, back to Pop's church,
Oh, no, actually, she filmed that in California.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, so the Southern
church in
California
Watts.
Community Choir, but she still came back to the church though.
Yeah, she did
And
a gospel album, but that was
yeah. Isn't her pops is on this album now, right?
Yeah, he's on there.
Just like a little-
Claire
yeah.
Ward. He was.
Yeah.
They had a video. They have a movie that they have not released yet because Sidney Lumet filmed it.
Really?
The Rolling Stones in it, James Cleveland,
Wow.
and
That's dope.
I forgot the exact circumstances, but somehow
The footage never.
no the it took so long for them to edit it that the rights reverted back to her,
Oh.
and then she wanted this exorbitant amount of money
to put it out.
for put it out. So they spent years wrangling with her, trying to get her to acquiesce her demands.
What we talking about is this, y'all.
They never. She passed away, so maybe now that she passed away with her state, maybe they'll be a little bit more lenient, and the movie will see the light of day.
Well, this album right here, Aretha Franklin, "Amazing Grace," is a gospel masterpiece.
Yes.
One of the best gospel albums you're ever gonna hear. And
Yes.
you
I
know,
won't say best
No?
gospel album, but it's one of the best, one of the best gospel performances by a secular R&B star.
I
'Cause you gotta- at
agree with
this
that, but I
time-
believe it's one of the best gospel. I mean, this is an all around great gospel listen.
It is. You can't take none of this. It's definitely a house
And-
cleaning record.
How shout out to our girl Mona, you know what I'm saying?
You know?
But I like my favorite Customs album is Holy Holy. It's a good
The way
song,
she
right?
took Marvin's song and turned it into a gospel song, she made it her bitch.
I like Old Landmark, which is a very up tempo when those Holy Ghost up tempo cuts.
Yeah.
Her version of Amazing Grace it goes without saying, y'all. Y'all already know that. And I like Precious Memories also. I thought that was a really good song too.
It was also amazing that she
Memory
took
don't
a couple.
contribute
She
to
took another pop song, I think. You've Got
Yeah,
a
You've
Friend,
Got a
and
Friend.
turned it into a gospel song,
Yo,
which I
campaign.
find interesting because if you're a fan of James Cleveland, he would take R&B songs and gospelize them. So she took a pop song and gospelized it in her way.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
I'd say How I Got Over though is probably my favorite song on this album though.
Oh yeah?
I like her version of that, and Claire Ward wrote that.
Yeah,
And,
that was her homage, showing
yeah.
that was the passing of the torch. Like,
Yeah.
I got this now, bitch.
Well, hold on. It's a gospel. It's like your toes kind of turn. Speaking my gospel records. Sorry, Lord. but
No mystery.
yeah, Aretha Franklin, Amazing Grace, great gospel listen. One of her best albums. Scoop it up if you don't have it. What you got next, Building Block?
On this one, my favorite song, Aretha Franklin, "Let Me in Your Life." My favorite song off of this is her cover of "Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing." Again, Aretha, she was a jazz pianist as well. In Colombia, they wanted to market her as a jazz artist, a jazz singer, and her jazz chops are amazing. And I think, like I told you before, jazz artists make the best pop stars. Their mastery of the music and the scales and notes, it allows them to take a song and do something with it. And I mean, I was a fan of Marvin and Tammy's "Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing."
Would you like hers too?
Better? Son. Once Aretha does your song, it's very rare that she does your song and hasn't owned it afterwards.
Wow.
There's one thing I think, there's a song that she did, Tried a Little Tenderness.
Yeah.
And Otis did it, and he took it back. But very rare will she get upstaged on a song in her prime. So yeah. Now I will say, "A Song for You," she ain't touching Donnie's version. But she's coming close.
Yeah.
She's coming close.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bernard Purdy is on this album, right?
He is.
That's dope.
That's
That's pretty.
I think he
on the
took
drums,
over-
baby.
I think he took over as musical director, or King Curtis was a musical director, and he tragically met an early end to his life, and that devastated Aretha. Because they were just starting to pick up speed, and after that, her career really wasn't the same. After that, Young, Gifted, and Black, down.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, sir. because that's a record I have to bring up right now, which was my next one, is Young, Gifted, and Black, which is probably my favorite Aretha album. Queen, we got a young queen in the house.
Here, start that over again.
Yeah, glad you brought that up. Young, Build on Black. I got a record right here called Young, Gifted, and Black. And we got a young queen in the house, you know what I mean, along with us. And this record right here might be my favorite Aretha Franklin album, because the songs on here are just crazy. I mean, Daydreaming was a banger. I love A Brand New Me. But of course, Young, Gifted, and Black, the title cut, was a killer. I mean, you know, several stage guest star.
It's funny, it got Donny Hathaway playing on Young, Gifted, and Black.
That's what's crazy.
But the joint for me,
oh, of course, is Rocksteady.
Play AMD, it's the world premiere.
Rocksteady is the song right there. That's just one of those bangers,
that
like
song.
It might be
Aretha Franklin hip hop.
It may be Aretha Franklin's funkiest song too. Maybe
it is.
I mean, no doubt, because I don't think she got funkier than that in her career. Go scoop this up if you don't have it. I'm sure they do, but if you don't, scoop up this album. It's my favorite Aretha Franklin album of all time. Young, Gifted, and Black. Right? Yeah. So what you got next, man?
I got Lady Soul. And this one, I think, had some of her most notable songs. Chain of Fools. Chain.
That's pretty notable.
That one, I remember my mother and father them playing that on Sundays. Again, Aretha Franklin did a cover of Curtis Mayfield's People Get Ready. And she owned it. And it's hard to own a Curtis Mayfield song, an impression song, but her chops on that, and then the breakdown when she catches the feeling in it, you know. And then Carole King's Natural Woman, she wrote that for Aretha, and
now that
shout out to Ariana Grande for attempting to sing it at the funeral. And she attempted, you know, she did her thing. I can't front on her, but it wasn't like the Queen. And then, you know, Ain't No Way is another joint that I really enjoy. That was written by her sister.
That's a good one. Carolyn, right?
Carolyn was a great writer. Her career never really took off like Aretha. As a singer.
Writer, decent.
No, she was a good writer. Ain't No Way.
Well, I mean, she had a decent writing career.
Yeah. But, you know, singer. I mean, her albums are fire. You know, you listen to them.
I like the other sister Irma Franklin's albums, too.
Irma's was good, too. She only had that one, right?
No, she got two. She's 2 or 3. She has one on Epic.
I know there's one on Brunswick. That's the one I have.
Before that, she was on Epic.
Yeah, but I don't did they release anything on her?
She has one album on Epic. That's pretty good.
You have it?
I have the 45.
Oh, okay.
It's good, though.
And since you've been gone, Sweet Baby, that's a good one.
Nah, this is a banger. So I did not know Carole King wrote that song for Aretha, though.
Yeah.
That's good news. I mean, good info to have. I didn't know that. That's dope. But I'm glad you brought up something in your soliloquy there, Young, Build, and Black. You brought up Curtis Mayfield.
Yes, sir.
And when Aretha's career branched off into the 70s after her 60s run, which was major, she ended up working with Curtis Mayfield to do this album right here. And it's from 78, but I think it's a very underrated album. I think a lot of people don't talk about it that much. But it's like Curtis Mayfield when he still had his, you know what I'm saying?
quick sidebar. Go ahead, do the pose for me, man. No, you gotta make the face and everything. This is my theory where he got that pose from, that you see him in all his everything OG pictures. Look at the mouth on there.
I stole it from Aretha, y'all.
Yeah.
But this album right here called Aretha Almighty Fire. It's produced by Curtis Mayfield, and then, like I said, I was trying to say that it's a very underrated Aretha Franklin album. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it has some really good records on here. Almighty Fire, the title cuts, a real funky jam that Curtis produced for her.
More Than Just a Joy is my joint.
More Than Just a Joy is
That's because the God Dilla flipped that.
Yeah, okay.
He took a song in 3/4 time. I think it's in 3/4, and he chopped it up so precise. I did a sample flip on my IG on my recent. If you go there and check it out, you'll see it. But that the way he did that.
My cut on here is Lady Lady. That's the jam. Really, really dope, smooth cut. And also Close to You. And I mean, this album is just a nice little banger. I think that, like I said, a lot of people don't really talk about it that much. It's like one of the albums people overlook.
But unfortunately, it didn't chart. No hits on it.
It didn't have any hits. I mean,
which was disappointing.
But I think
it was Curtis behind
I think
the boards.
but looking back now, though, I think people can appreciate how good this album really was. And I think Curtis did his thing on here. And I recommend it. Scoop it up. You see it
But it
in
did
the
not
stores, y'all.
match the success.
That Curtis?
That Curtis. Sparkle. The soundtrack. And this is an interesting tidbit that Sparkle was actually supposed to be for Carolyn. And that brought some beef between the sisters because,
What?
you know, Carolyn hooked up with Curtis, and she, you know, he gave her the songs from Sparkle. At the time, Aretha was looking for new producers to work with, and yeah, Curtis is not. Well, who, you know, he's gonna jump at the chance to work with Aretha, and she found out about the Sparkle soundtrack, and she was like, "Yeah, I want that." So exit Carolyn.
Wow.
And, you know, had to get the old man to come in and intervene. It got that bad between the sisters. But
That's some news I did not know.
I mean, personally, I like, you know, what Irene Cara and Lynette McKee did in the movie, because they sang in the movie, and Aretha sang on the commercially released soundtrack.
Right.
But my favorites on here is Jump, you know, giving him something he can feel.
Of course.
Hooked on Your Love.
Yep.
And the title track, Sparkle. Aretha was very competitive with her sisters. She did not want, in her early years in Columbia, before she went to Atlantic, she did not, they were signed too. She was mad. She did not want them to risk getting a hit before she got a hit. You know, that was a major point of contention, that she thought they were going to get hits before she did. Fortunately, she proved them wrong and got her hits first with Atlantic, but
and then
imagine that.
Didn't you tell me once that either, I don't know if you said it was a theory or fact, but you believe that she stifled, like, Fontella Brass's career?
Fontella Bass? Yeah. And not maybe until a year ago, I thought Rescue Me was Aretha. It sounds so much like her.
I know it was Fontella Bass.
I know, I didn't know. It wasn't until like a year ago I realized that wasn't Aretha Franklin. Because I kept looking for Rescue Me by Aretha, and it was like, that's not Aretha, it's Fontella Bass. But, yeah, she was,
but she played politics with her career, though? With Fontella's career?
Aretha could shut it down. Who's a bigger draw, Aretha or Fontella?
I know, but what did she do? She made sure nobody played the record, or what?
She made sure she didn't get the good songs, to get the good producers, because I think she was, you know, anybody that was on her label, she didn't like Roberta Flack, because she was like, what you need her for? You got me. You know, even though Roberta was like a little different lane, Aretha saw as competition, and she definitely didn't like when Donnie and her started having those hits. You know, because that was the time Aretha wasn't having no hits. You know, after Atlantic and Jerry Wexler and her parted ways, and she started those next few Atlantic albums with Flam, she wasn't getting no hits. Her star was going down, and then you had all these other female R&B songs coming up, and them Donny Hathaway, You and I back together again. So when Donny committed suicide, that might have brought a little brightness to her.
Oh, that's cool. I want to hear that.
She had to worry about her and Roberta.
I want to hear that, man.
You know, it's the music business is crazy, man. Aretha Franklin, I just read 2 autobiographies on her. She was very insecure to be such a confident singer. You know, and people theorize all these type of stuff where it came from, whatever, and that's probably why she had that soul voice, the pain she had in her life, you know. But she been through some shit.
Next up for me, you know, I know you heard of Quincy Jones, everybody. Well, Quincy Jones even had to come to the Queendom. She had to, you know, he had to basically say hello to the Queen and come visit her in her spot in Detroit and produce a masterpiece.
I'm not gonna say it's a masterpiece.
I love it.
It's a very uneven album. And hindsight is some joints on it. But at the time, coming off of Young Gifted and Black and dropping this,
I wouldn't say it was definitely better than Young Gifted and Black.
This was one of the ones that it didn't do good. You know.
But it still has some killers on here though. Angel.
Yeah,
Angel is amazing. I love Mr. Spain is my favorite song on this album. Mr. Spain is just a killer cut, and I even like title cut Hey Now Hey too. So I mean, this album still produced some gems though.
Well, in the back, looking at it in a retro way and stuff to find a sample, but it didn't chart.
No, it didn't chart.
It didn't have no hits, and you know, like I say, coming from that run she had, and then the album cover was confusing because you flip it one way, you have Aretha like that, and you flip it the other, you have Aretha like that. Then you have this crazy cartoon stuff in the inside, and you get the dope needle. Like, what is that? What is that?
But why is the dope needle there?
Yeah.
It didn't make no sense?
No, it don't. You got him in the Matador costume with a dope needle, Quincy floating on some clouds.
Quincy.
Then you got the Egyptian iris, the almighty iris sparrow thing on the other side. It was just...
I always wonder why Quincy included himself on this album cover. I mean, I know he produced it, but like, was he that vain we had to be on Aretha's album cover?
Son, like I say, it's so confusing. You know?
I still like these songs in these albums.
I mean, it's some good songs, like I said.
You know what I mean?
But as far as a career, it didn't add to it.
It wasn't the biggest album of her career, but it
didn't add to it.
It's definitely, like you said, looking back though, nice album. Scoop it up in your record store if you don't have it, y'all. It's called Hey Now Hey. What you got, man?
One of my favorite ones, Aretha Franklin.
Yep.
Spirit in the Dark.
Yep.
Which Spirit in the Dark was sampled by the great Kanye West for School Spirit off his first debut album. Don't Play That Song is another joint. I sampled that myself. And I always like The Thrill Is Gone, her version of Thrill Is Gone. You know.
Pretty good. Can't mess with BB though.
That's your opinion. You know, I won't say that her version shits on his, but I do like hers. You know. You want your binky, babe? I know you're not hungry. I just fed you.
But yeah, it's a good album though.
You know.
Spirit in the Dark, very very dope album, and it's got some bangers on there.
Wasn't Call Me on what album was Call Me on? Oh yeah, here it is right here. I knew Call Me was on.
Oh, it is an album.
Yeah,
I thought it was 45.
Oh. See, that's why you don't listen to Deviant. Call Me. Aretha Franklin. This girl's in love with you. Yeah. And her version of Dark End of the Street is pretty good.
Eleanor Rigby? That was that one.
Yeah. I like it. I like it over the Beatles shit, but I like Let It Be. Her version of Let It Be. And then Son of a Preacher Man. It's hard to eclipse Dusty Springfield. But Aretha, man. And the problem is, the song, Aretha had that song before Dusty, but due to scheduling, she couldn't get to it. So Dusty did it first. And when Aretha heard it, she was mad. So she immediately
redid it.
She did that to Dionne Warwick too. Dionne Warwick had that hit Until I Come Back to You, and that was like released, and Aretha did her version a year later. She was petty like that. She heard your song and she thought she could do it better. She didn't give a damn for no time.
But Dusty's was a major hit though.
Yeah,
for Dusty's career.
Yeah, definitely. You know, she was white and country, and she's gonna get that exposure.
Well, my last one right here, my favorite Aretha records is Aretha You, and it's
she got those sweater puppets.
Yeah, I mean it's very overlooked album. She got the glasses, the shades on, chilling.
One thing, Aretha wasn't afraid to let them girls out.
You know what I mean?
Did you ever see that one with Soul Train with Dunn and the orange thing and the see-through?
Oh yeah. She was styling.
The poppies popping.
Dope album, you guys. It's produced by Gene Page. David T. Walker's on here. You got Tom Scott's on sax. You know what I mean? And I got Ernie Watts on here. Nice little all-star cast. Cissy Houston on the background vocals. Whitney's mom.
She did a lot with the Sweet Inspirations. Did a lot of vocals with her.
So it's a dope album. The music on here is very soulful. And it's from '75. So
that album was viewed as a flop too.
It was a flop, but going like you say, looking back in retrospect, it's got a lot of bangers on here. And
I don't know about bangers.
Well, at least sample wise, I
Sample
heard about 3 beats. But You Make My Life is dope. It Only Happens When I Look at You. Sample Snitch, De La Soul, used for Long Island Degrees. On Stakes is High. But another cut on here is Without You. I mean, this album is not, you know, the best Aretha album, but it's definitely a good listen and definitely scoop it up. So yeah, so this has been our tribute to the Queen of Soul, y'all, who's one of the best, if not the best, singer of all time, at least in the R&B soul lane. R&B soul lane, definitely the best singer of all time, no doubt about it, right?
I don't know about the best, but as an artist, she brought something to the game that was lacking. You know, she had a talent that was undeniable.
Undeniable.
You know, because it's hard to say best, because then you're denigrating everybody else's skills.
Okay.
And there are some very Mavis staples. She was just as good as a singer. You know, I think it comes down to songs, what kind of songs you had, and a lot of Aretha songs are classic and timeless during that Atlantic run, because she had some dribble, you know. And if you took that dribble and compared that to some of the other people's, hard to say that she's the best, but she was a diva though.
Definitely a diva.
She was, you know,
definitely a diva, definitely the queen. We love and miss you, Aretha Franklin, rest in peace. And
she definitely had the talent to back it up.
Word
you
out.
know,
Word.
she definitely
Major.
Her piano playing was underrated. When you put her in front of a piano and a microphone,
It's over.
the only person I see that can compare to her is Alicia Keys.
Alicia's nice, but
I'm trolling her.
yeah, like she's not Aretha.
I'm kidding.
But on that note, y'all, my name is Deviant the Digger, Mr. Everything OG.
I couldn't even say that with a straight face. I'm the D-double.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Everything OG, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that kid at 14 or 15.
12.
12 was the first kid?
12. 13 got pregnant 12. 13 had it. Then had another one at 15. 14 or 15. Got pregnant at 14, had one at 15. So shit, she was a preteen mother. But I wasn't going to bring that up, but we'll edit this out.
You mentioned pain, so, but
he will not besmirch the queen with a fast ass. Her father,
children are blessings.
he had a child with a 12-year-old too, and he was a 30, 40-year-old man.
That I did not know.
20, no, he was 25. That don't make it no better, but
that's new to me. But
old enough to bleed, old enough to breathe. Back then.
We're gonna edit this out. All right, but yeah, was it the longest funeral on TV ever?
Yeah, but Whitney's is better.
Whitney's a better funeral?
Yeah, wow. I think the concert performances of Whitney
were better.
Yeah. You know, because it felt more spontaneous. This one felt drawn out and over the top. Whitney's felt like more emotion and like rawness, like yo, the shock and surprise. You got some heart.